Flunge.
I want to talk to you. No, I want to talk to all of you.
Oh, by the way, I wrote a column about this today. There was an incident on a train just out of Clapham Junction. And everything that I write in that column is absolutely true. It did happen. And you can, if you think you've got a train story, then what I wrote about today may top your train story. You can compare and contrast. And you can find it at lbc.co.uk. If you go down to the blogs section, it's right there on the front page. You'll see it there. lbc.co.uk. This says, why are the people of this country still going to France when they voted to come out of the EU? They so want to exit the EU, they are prepared to suffer themselves sitting in a traffic backlog for over 10 hours. It just does not make any sense to me. Maybe this is France's way of giving us a taste of things to come once we have exited completely, says Abby in Surrey. Well, it's a mystery piled on top of a conundrum. I have no idea. I've given up trying to figure out mankind. I was driving by... where was I driving by? Clapham Common is exactly where I was driving by tonight. I got that one right. I was driving by Clapham Common tonight, and a guy was on a bike, and he was just ahead of me, and he slowed down just a little bit, and it looked like he was going to talk to some women who were standing, holding babies on the pavement, just by Clapham Common there. And they looked at him in expectation of him saying something to them. But he did not say anything to them. He spat in their faces. And the looks on these women's physiogs was first slight bit wonderment, and then complete disgust. And I thought, what on earth has gone on there? I was in slow-moving traffic, so he continued to be ahead of me. And I was driving directly behind him. I thought, well, they must know each other or something. What a bizarre thing to see. And slightly, very unpleasant. And he carried on, and there was another young woman about 20 yards up the road. She was also standing on the pavement by Clapham Common, and he slowed down and spat in her face as well. And I passed him, and he was dressed way too heavily for the weather as it was today. He was wearing a big thick coat and a cap, and he had a beard. He appeared to be Western, perhaps British, I don't know. And he had a smile on his face, and he was, perfectly enjoying his time. And he passed groups of men. He didn't spit at them. He was just reserving his saliva for, it may have been a coincidence, they were good-looking women who were on the pavement, and that was the way he was getting his kicks, spitting in the face of women who were on the pavement by Clapham Common. And I know this is wrong, but I thought maybe I should, I didn't think run him over, but maybe I should bash his bike with my car to send him flying. But then I suppose I would have been the bad guy. So that thought flashed across my mind, and then I dismissed it. And I thought of remonstrating with him, but then he was on a bike and I was in my car. And so he had no identifying marks of any kind. And he could have just started booting my car, and I couldn't have done anything about it. And so what I did was, I gave him one of my patented stares. I thought, that'll teach him. The stuff you see. So I'm going to mark him down to be excised from the human race should we need to start creating a list. Because at some point somebody's going to have to do something. Because we can't just keep reproducing at this level. The stupids are out reproducing the smarts. And if you haven't already, you must see this film, Idiocracy. I keep mentioning it over and over again. It's become, it was a comedy, now it's a documentary. We're living it right now. And it's happened so quickly. When I first saw it, I thought, well, it's an interesting notion, but nothing like that could possibly ever happen. Well, it's happened. The stupids have outbred the smarts, and now we're living in stupid land. I mean, for crying out loud, where were the police when this was going on? And I just hope that that he spits at the wrong woman some way up the road, and their husband or a boyfriend sees him do it and takes him to task with great vengeance. Have you ever heard anything like it? The stuff that goes on. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC.
LBC. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850. Nick Abbott on LBC.
You're wondering what it's all about, and I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
In reference to something I said some moments ago, this text says, grasp the nettle before the bush gets too big. Is that some sort of euphemism? Yes.
Disgusting.
This says, maybe we are wrongly presuming that survival of the fittest refers to fit mind and intelligence. Perhaps intelligence makes us less fit for survival. Species-wise, that seems to be the case, looking at the longevity of cockroaches and the like. Huh. Well, they're physically fit. I mean, they may not be that bright, but they are physically fit. In that they seem to be able to withstand everything that we can throw at them, pretty much. This says, let's hope the women went to the police to get his DNA from the spit. It was, well, I don't know. I think it would probably, if you analysed it, if an expert analysed it, it would come out looking like primordial ooze. And Steve the Cabbie says, I was just listening to your story of the spitting cyclist. I missed the end of the story as I had to go through the Blackwall Tunnel. Please tell me it finished with you knocking him off his bike at very high speed. No, Steve, it did not. But I frowned at him. With great vengeance. Let's have a call. Well, I mean, what the hell can you do? What can you do? I was just really, really hoping that he would spit at the wrong woman, because the people that he was spitting at were just women on their own. You know, like two of them were carrying babies, and another was just. She was standing by the pavement, enjoying a warm evening in the by the park, and then some bleephole comes up and spits in her face from a very, very short distance away. Standing by the side of the road, she was, and you don't expect that kind of thing. And I just hope that he spits at the wrong person, and a boyfriend or the husband or friend runs after him and pushes him off his bike with tragic consequences, he said, waving his fingers in the air to denote inverted commas around the word tragic. Hove. Hello, Amy.
Oh, Nick, hello.
Amy.
How are you?
I'm great, mate.
While I'm thinking about it, I wish you had nudged that bloke on a bike.
Yeah. Well,
Really,
I wish I had too, but you know, that would be wrong.
No, it wouldn't, because the two women who got spat at, I mean, there's nothing, it's the worst thing. It's the most disgusting thing.
I think he looked like a tramp. I mean, you know when tramps wear way too many, because they were basically wearing all of their clothes, regardless of the outside temperature, because if they divest themselves of their coats and such now, then they won't have anything in the winter. But he looked like he was wearing everything he owned. This isn't going to make the story any more pleasant, but he looked like, he hadn't brushed his teeth in about the last 6 years.
Oh, God, that's worse. No, you're right. It's worse now. Ugh. God, I really wish.
I just turned it up to 11.
Even a nudge, you know, you didn't have to, kill him. Just give him a little.
Well, this is what.